Welcome to the Gospel According to podcast, the first and only podcast looking at the intersection of pop culture and the Christian faith. I'm Dan Orr, joined as always by a guy you might know as the one with glasses. That's Dave Hallahan.
I do have glasses, always. You have glasses like part-time. You're a part-time glasses wearer.
We are actually at summer camp right now, and
Live from summer camp.
my glasses were broken at summer
the
camp.
Gospel According to. Yeah.
That's why I'm not wearing them and squinting throughout this podcast, because I wrestled another staff member and he broke my glasses because he was losing.
I mean, that is part of summer camp. Like, you're going to break something. You're going to lose something. One of my earliest camp memories, actually, is here at Delanco Camp. And you'll
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. You'll know the name Paul Zielinski.
Yes.
And we play mingle games, camp tradition first night, where basically you're inside running around and you're supposed to be getting to know each other, but that's not really what happens.
You're getting sweaty.
You're getting sweaty, yes. But I don't remember the specific game we were playing, but probably like clumps, like you run around and then they say a number and you got to get in that group. And Paul came flying across the floor and tried to hit the brakes, and his elbow went up and knocked a tooth out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He knocked out one of my teeth. Yeah.
So I'd rather break my glasses than an arm or a tooth.
I was young enough where it was junior camp and it was like a baby tooth. So it was okay. It was a tooth that was supposed to come out at some point. But
does the Tooth Fairy visit summer camp?
The Tooth Fairy does not visit summer camp. I found out the hard way that the Tooth Fairy does not come to summer camp.
You need to update. It's like when you go away and you tell the post office to hold your mail. You also need to tell the Tooth Fairy where you'll be residing.
Yes.
For the next week.
Yeah, just in case, I would not suggest celebrating Christmas at summer camp either. Just to be sure, just to cover all your bases. Don't want to set up your kids for any disappointment there. But yeah, we're back with part 2 of the Gospel According to Summer Camp. This is like 2 Corinthians.
Yeah, 2 Corinthians. Not enough in one episode to fill all of the great stories and submissions we got from you, all the fun to be had. And we thought we were here at summer camp.
Yeah.
On location, live on location.
Yep.
I mean, you will not be listening to this live.
No.
But we, as always, record it live.
Yes, as always, brought to you live, and you can listen whenever. You don't even have to be at summer camp when you listen, but you can if you are one of those people who smuggle your phones in the camp. We disdain you, but it's okay if you listen to the Gospel According to. I think you get a free pass.
Yeah, and comment your name below so your counselors can find you out.
Yeah, but listen to this one. We'll actually have later in the episode, we'll have some people who are with us here at camp that will share what camp means to them. But you can go back all the way to just about the beginning of the Gospel According to. It was our 5th episode, was the summer camp episode. Yeah. So after you listen to this one, if these stories weren't enough for you and you hadn't already listened, or go back and listen, because there are some gems that are worth hearing twice.
Yes, we've talked about this week together.
Yep.
To start off, we posted some things about different nicknames. We did a whole nickname podcast, but summer camp is ripe for nicknames. Two of my older daughters went to junior camp last week, and they told me one of the kids' names was Green Shirt because they didn't know his name, and on the first day he wore a green shirt. And so
there it is.
There's
a green shirt.
For the rest of camp, that was his name. When we went to camp, there was a group of kids, 2, I believe, who were called the Butt Cheese Brothers.
Yes.
Do you remember this?
Yes, I do. We might have talked about this on the first episode.
Okay, but you'd rather be Green Shirt Kid.
I'd rather be Green Shirt than Butt Cheese. Yes.
But some of the good nicknames we had sent in. Funniest camp nickname, this is from Grace. My friends acquired is Frog Sucker. Why do you think they were called Frog Sucker, Dave?
I mean, I gotta think, do we have the answer?
No.
Okay, so we're just pure speculation, never to be corrected or not. I have it on good authority that this kid is named Frog Sucker because he would go and he would catch frogs, and one kid dared him to bite the head off of a frog.
Oh, no.
And he did it. He did it.
This is from Anastasia. the best nickname was for a leader. It was the Rizzler, the Rizzle Dizzle, and Rizzly Bear.
All right, gotta be honest. If a leader
Oh no!
at camp is getting a nickname, including the Riz, that leader is going home. He's not being invited back.
Excuse me, Rizzly Bear. Yeah, can you come up to the stage, please?
Yeah, we need to have a conversation.
Turn in your whistle.
We need to talk about this.
Why do the kids call you Rizzle Dizzle? And lastly, this is from K or Kai. How would you pronounce CAI?
Kai.
Yeah. Best camp nickname was Jehovah's Thickness.
I mean, I guess, like, God bless,
Dumps like a truck.
Yeah. Do we have any good nicknames out here this week? I mean, we have been visited by the Great Dandini.
The Great Dandini,
Yes.
a great illusionist
Yes.
that the camp was able to secure for this week.
Illusion. I'm excited. This is the first time all three of my daughters have been out at camp, and so the nickname of the Galahans, my last name being Hallahan, and I have all daughters, so they are the Galahans. That is spreading to camp. I'm happy about that.
We have twins that are a girl staff member and a guy staff member that are twins, and their last name is Murphy. And the boy, the male, got very offended when I called his sister Murph because he's Murph. She's never been called Murph in her entire life. He is Murph, and he was very offended by that.
Nicknames become, you take ownership of
part
them.
of your identity.
It becomes part of who you are.
A part of your identity. We have some other great stories that we're going to get into. And if you want to send us, if you missed the prompt of sending us great summer camp stories, send them in. And next year,
for part three,
maybe if it's good enough,
for the third John version of,
or we might just share them. But this was from Katie. This was just an aside that she didn't remember much from camp. But she definitely had a boyfriend, and he was older and from a different town, and you guys wouldn't know him. Her boyfriend, a real person.
The Rizzly Bear?
But yes, at camp, yes. It's often embellished.
Yes.
Dave actually talked, he's our speaker for the week, talked about the one-upping that, I can do that. I know how to do this thing, or you don't know from home, but like I'm a really big deal in my town. I won the state championship. And
yeah, I saw someone, I don't know if this is one that you were planning to share or not, but someone shared a story that a girl professed her love for him on the third day and they didn't know each other. And I'm like, we can file this under things that definitely never happened.
Yeah. And they're still together to this day. Here's a wild story we got from Malls, or I don't know after I share this if he's going to want his name shared. So this is a wild one. That's what he said, not me. In like 7th grade, we had a week-long overnight camp. During the camp, we got one spiritual challenge and one fun challenge. My spiritual challenge was to pray twice a day. My fun challenge, in quotation marks, fun challenge was that I had to lick 20 other campers' elbows, specifically 5 leaders' elbows, and the rest is whoever's. So, yeah. The way this is worded, it makes it seem like somebody else gave this to him, as if this was camp ordained.
We got challenges.
One spiritual challenge and one like fun challenge.
Yeah, I feel like if he was obedient with the spiritual challenge, the Spirit may have stopped him from doing the fun challenge. Please do not lick anyone's elbows.
And that's how COVID started.
Yes, this was actually a winter retreat in January of 2020.
There's usually gross things that happen at camp. You get together enough people that are getting sweaty. You get to know each other. One of the best things we talked about in the last episode, one of the great things about summer camp is after a while, kind of some of the barriers start to come down. You spend enough time with people. By Tuesday, you don't really care how you look anymore because everyone's sweaty. It's kind of like You get to know each other on a deeper level. But with that comes maybe a TMI. Get to know each other a little bit too much.
Yes.
Get a little too comfortable with each other.
Yeah, I just walked into the boys' dorm earlier today, and one of the guys goes, "Does it stink in here?" And like you're in it so long, like you just don't even notice. He needed outside opinion.
All right, here, camp goer here, not a counselor, but hopefully funny nonetheless.
Not a counselor.
I was at a very religious camp that had a heavy focus on sports. One church's team was cheating at church sports camp, and the camp wasn't catching them. Instead of complaining, we decided to buy shaving cream and use it to write their church's name, rules, on the main building. They got in trouble and were told that they weren't able to come back if they were caught doing anything else. They stopped cheating. That's how Jesus throws down.
Yeah, no, I think some nonviolent resistance, right? That's what Jesus is all about. That is a way to do it. It was shaving cream.
Yeah,
that's better than spray paint. Yeah, you weren't actually damaging anything. I don't know that is the way that Jesus would have to handle that, but I do think if you're going to stray from Jesus's approach, this is an okay one.
Yeah. If they ask for your cloak, give them your tunic also. If they slap you on the right cheek, give them the other. If they cheat in sports camp,
frame them for
frame the church so that they stop.
Yeah, obviously.
I mean, I don't know if
that's the Passion Translation. I think. Yeah.
This is from Corey. I once won the biggest splash contest, then 20 minutes later won the smallest splash contest. I peaked at 11.
I mean, to take home the mythical double crown of biggest splash, smallest splash, I hope there's a plaque.
The range that someone would have to not only big splash, but small splash.
Yes.
Did you ever win any camp competitions, Dave?
No. We were just talking about, we used to, at camp, serve all dinners like family style.
Yes.
And we just had turkey dinner last night, and turkey dinner was always the one that had like the most movement, and we would like turn it into a game of like how many times can you go back into the kitchen, into the indoor with an actual purpose, not just like walk in the indoor and go, but like, so you've got your turkey, your mashed potatoes, your peas, your stuffing, cranberry sauce, your gravy, the cornbread, like, so you can't do that in one shift. So you're always getting refills for everybody. So I always wanted to be that guy. I don't think I actually set the camp record, which were always fake and made up. The camp records, just like points on Whose Line Is It Anyway, are completely made up and don't matter. But yes, I would always try to like go in the indoors many times as I could.
That's always a good kind of staff counselor strategy. Last week they cleaned up their dorm in 15 minutes. You guys think we can do it in 14 minutes? It'll be a new camp record.
Yeah.
This is from Dave Evans, not that Dave Evans. Did a trust fall stage dive thing where everyone passed him overhead down the line of campers. Someone thought it would be funny to throw a bucket of water at him, startled the campers, dropped the counselor, who was in a big neck brace for the next 6 months.
No. Oh, man. Yeah, that's rough. Presumably they like threw the water, not the bucket. Right? Like they didn't throw a bucket of water.
Throw a bucket of water.
I just broke my neck because the bucket was still full of water and broke my neck.
That is not what we meant to do. Oh, man. So, yes, again, injuries in camp seem to go hand in hand.
Yes.
We had this one strange kid at family camp.
Just one.
I had. Family camp, I think you're getting more than one strange kid. A couple homeschool kids. He had to be 5 to 7 years old. I don't know why, but he seemed frustrated with me during free time. We were at the playground with a couple of the kids deciding which game to play, and I guess he didn't like my answer. So he walks right up to me and does this rather shoddy side spear kick, like a martial arts kick, and then punches me in the leg. Just then, his mom walks by and runs up to him in a stern voice and says, "Not outside the dojo. 20 push-ups now." And I kid you not, the 7-year-old gingered mini man drops and does 20 push-ups to the point of pain when his mom leaves. He left the park after that.
That's awesome. That's fantastic.
Not outside the dojo.
I think I got to remember to use that this week. If I see guys roughhousing or whatever, I'm gonna say, not outside the dojo.
Yeah. You need to know when it's appropriate to use your crawl McGraw.
Krav. I think it's Krav.
Krav?
Like Krav.
Crave? Like the cereal?
There's
cereal?
no E at the end, though.
Krav.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll have to ask Matthias. He might know.
Yeah. Drop us a line. We also asked if there was any pranks. We asked for funny, harmless pranks because sometimes they aren't. And
sometimes they're not funny and they're not harmless.
Yes. And we got some of those too. A lot in the not funny thing. But here we go. Funny prank. Last year at camp, we put melatonin gummies in fruit snack gummies and gave it to our youth pastor. The next day, he was telling us how he slept like a rock.
That's pretty good. That is harmless. That is funny. You got to like sneak them to like the speaker though. It's like at dinner. And then you get like a nice short message. You get to your night game because the speakers are feeling sleepy.
Yeah. What would be the best time and worst time to sneak melatonin gummies to a staff member?
Worst time would be like a few hours before the swim test. And then like the lifeguard is like drifting at the beach.
I was thinking worst time would be at the end of camp, especially if you're at a camp when like they have to drive home.
Yeah.
And like if you came in a church van or a church bus, like you're exhausted from a week of camp, and then
plus you got the melatonin gummies, roaring through your system. I mean, best time I think like maybe at like night if you have like a night snack time or something like that, because then if I'm not condoning this, but I'm just saying if you want to sneak out, you can.
The gospel according to podcast is not responsible for anyone breaking camp rules.
Yes.
Based on suggestions by Dave. We had a friend of the pod, John Falcone, decided with some people last day of camp to pull an all-nighter. And then exhaustion from camp, exhaustion from not sleeping, drove his car into a tree on the way home from camp.
I do remember that. I remember that happening, yes. Not advisable. No. Not advisable.
You're already going to be tired enough from camp.
Yes.
You do not need to be pulling all-nighters at camp. Insults are sometimes a thing at camp. With younger kid, it's funnier because they are usually less harmful or cursing less. So we here have Andrea. At camp, my roommate and I didn't get along, so I told her that her butt was bigger than Canada. It was the worst insult I could think of at 8 years old. And that girl whose butt was bigger than Canada grew up to be a counselor, better known as Jehovah's Thickness.
Jehovah's Thickness. Yes. Now married to the Grizzly Bear, I think.
Yeah, it was just the stars aligned, and love was in the air. Working together on summer staff, that they came together. Alexander says, hated camp. It was just too hot, and I always got picked last for sports, which was justifiably so. So to get out of it, I drank a buttload of Red High C and made myself vomit in the sandbox and convinced one of the camp counselor that it was blood. They sent me to the hospital.
That's like you kind of outsmart yourself. Like you fake a fever, you put it on the light bulb, and you have a fever of like 107.
Yeah,
and it's we gotta get this guy to the hospital. They
call the ambulance there. So, but he went to the hospital, so he was holding fast to his story.
Yeah, did he? That's where the story ends? Yeah.
But he hated camp that much.
I'm curious to know how that played out. Like, did he tell them on the way to the hospital? Did he try to like play it out? Oh, everything seems fine. I don't know. I feel much better actually. Just got that blood out of my system. Maybe that's the frog sucker. It was just frog's blood. Sorry.
So, no. So buttload of high C. How much
I see.
in fluid ounces, Dave, is a buttload?
Well, to the average person, a buttload of red high C in fluid ounces, I'm going to say that's like, I mean, we got to be pushing 76.
Whoa.
Well, I think like 64 ounces. Oh, no. 64 ounces. I'm going to say 2 of these.
2 of those. Okay.
Because like 32 ounces is a lot of hot red high C, but it's not a buttload.
Well,
I think I was initially thinking of what a buttload would be for a Jehovah's thickness.
I guess there are all different sizes. I was thinking half a gallon, so it's probably depends on if your butt's the size of Canada or not.
Right.
This is Wes. It was church camp, and we were all in our bunks, lights off, slowly winding down for the night. Suddenly, a voice announces over the loudspeaker throughout the entire camp that Holyfield beat Mike Tyson because Tyson bit his ear. That's all they said.
It's like one of those moments, you know. Everybody remembers where
you were
when JFK's assassination,
moon
landing, and Mike Tyson biting Evander Holyfield's ear off.
Have you ever received any
big news at camp?
Yeah, so usually we're kind of isolated. We try and take cell phones from the kids. You know, we're at our camp here where we are this week. We're in the middle kind of nowhere in the woods, the Pine Barrens of New Jersey. Have you received?
I mean, big in my life was the trade the Phillies made for Roy Halladay.
Okay.
And that happened while at camp. And I think visitors, but word kind of just like started spreading throughout camp that the Phillies got Roy Halladay.
Okay. So big for you. I remember when this was like pre-internet, that a camper's parents had their parents cut out the box scores from the newspapers and send it to him in the mail.
That's awesome.
So that he could keep up with his, I guess baseball is a summer baseball team. This is from Nancy L. is not a bot. Okay. So it's definitely not from a bot.
Okay. So Chat GPT has submitted a story.
We were headed to go swimming. Counselor stops us and starts lecturing about the buddy system.
Buddy.
In the background, other counselor whacking pool with rake. So heading to go swimming, counselor stops us lecturing about buddy system. In the background, another counselor is whacking the pond with a rake. They pull out a huge dead snake, then shows it to us like it's a nature show. And the cheery first counselor says, "Okay, time to swim now." Are you getting in that lake?
No. Not the same, but we did a polar plunge at Delenka one time, and I partook, and I came, and I was with a friend. They saw the ambulance and were nervous. I came, and someone was out in the water breaking the ice with a paddle, and I'm like, I don't want to get in the water. Like, you're breaking the ice so I can get in. But no, if I watch a snake be murdered in the water, I don't think I'm getting in the water.
Well, we have wampus here.
We do have wampus.
We have huge
snapping turtles.
Yes, my daughter caught a fish the other day, and as they were pulling it out, this huge snapping turtle came and bit the fish in half. And that's where we swim.
That is where we swim. Not very far from where we swim.
Not very far from where we swim.
All right. Well, we'll get some testimonials in here, and then after that, it will be time for the Bible breakdown.
Destiny. I've been going to Delanco for 6 years.
My name is Jack Pittman. John Allen Pittman, actually. I have been coming to camp since, I think, 2013 or 14, so about 9-10 years now.
My name is John Brumel. Also go by Jack or Big Jack, Tall Jack, Handsomer Jack. I've been connected to summer camp for 9 years.
What's up? I'm Jake Schoen. I've been involved with camp for only 2 years. I started summer camp when I was 39 years old.
My name is Samantha Moody, and I have gone to camp since 2004, so 19 years ago. I've been a camper. I've been a volunteer nanny for the campers, and this is my first year on summer staff, to where I am working the social media and communications.
I love Delanco Camp because when I hear the word holy ground, that's what I think of. And I like that we can come here and I can reconnect. And I've met some of the coolest people in my life at Delanco. And I'm just super excited that I get to come back every year and not only serve as a camper, but as a staff member. And I love it here.
The thing I love about the summer camp experience, just the atmosphere here. You're surrounded by wilderness. It's in my mind, growing up here, it's become like the photo evidence of like what God's creation really is.
You get to meet people older than you, people younger than you. Like even on our staff, I mean, we have college age kids all the way up to, Papa Bear, like 102, whatever it might be. But we get so many different people, and I think sometimes within our Christian faith or even within our culture, we lose those intergenerational relationships in camp. I always love coming out here, meeting some of the kids, getting to know a lot of the staff.
I'm back. I was listening to what Jack was saying, and I thought it was cool when he was talking about the generational connections you make with the people here. The fact that I can mentor the next generation and kind of guide them into the friendships that I now have at camp and the relationships that I have, so that one day they can come to camp, be a counselor, have fun with me, their leader from years ago, while also mentoring the next generation and having this group of friends that is all connected through Christ. And such a holy, amazing place is just really cool.
I love when you come to camp that it feels like that unity that you would like to see out in the broader Christian world. It's like you get a small snippet of that when you're at camp for a week.
The community. It's really fun just to come here for a summer, if it's for the week or for the whole summer, and just be around people who have the same beliefs as you and just feeling that community spirit.
It's like a getaway for me, especially since I do so much during the year. It's I look forward to it months and months in advance, and I think it's different because not only do we have great people here who love Jesus and love the kids and the campers, it's just that the connections I've made is something that I can't forget, and I have Delanco to thank for getting me through some really, really rough times.
Less distractions. In the real world, we have so many distractions. We have our jobs, we have our families, we have, TVs, computers, cell phones. Out here, you're able to disconnect and be able to talk to people.
You just cut everything off. In your day-to-day life, you are thinking about, I have to do chores around the house, or, I have schoolwork for many of the kids, or I have these sports. I have a million different things that you can be involved in your life, but when you're at camp, it's pretty much all shut off, and it just gives us a chance to solely take this week to wake up and you start worshiping God, and you end your night worshiping God, and that whole time in between can be focused on your faith, whereas in your life you just don't have that opportunity to wake up and go to sleep doing that throughout the entire day.
I think that the things that Christians do probably more weekly get done daily. And I think that consistency really builds towards the end of the camp. And I think it gives you a lot of opportunity to show the kids that there is a great life that can be lived as a Christian.
And here comes the breakdown.
For the Bible breakdown, we are going to have the summer camp counselor draft that everyone's been waiting for, where we will draft we are drafting those we would want to be our counselor. They must be
Correct.
Biblical characters.
Mm-hmm.
We'll flip a coin. Dan, you can go first.
Okay.
Who you got?
First off, I'm going what I want as a camper out of my counselor is a little unhinged.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want the rule follower necessarily. As a camper, I want the one that's going to kind of buck the system. The program director, the head of the camp is going to say, all right, guys, you have to go to sleep at 11:30. But then my counselor will be like, yeah, okay. And then when we get back, he's like, all right, guys, you ready to stay up? I got some, Monster Energy drinks or something. So as a camper, I want somebody that's, has that both sides of them. And so I'm going with Peter first. So, Peter can be a little reckless He can be loud. He's kind of that camp counselor that's going to be in front. He's going to be cheering. He's going to be in full face paint, full costume for that. Might cut off somebody's ear, in a rage for that. But he also has the spiritual side to him. So kind of that balance of reckless fun, energy. Going to be the first one to jump out of the boat, try and walk on water. And so he has that kind of go get 'em attitude that I want as a camper, to kind of bring the hype machine to camp.
Yeah, I like that. Similar line of thinking. And we should say that we agreed off air that we can't draft Jesus.
Of course.
He's the program director.
Yes, but he obviously that's who we would want.
Right. So the next best thing, I'm going to go with the guy who leads the way for Jesus. And I think also has a bit of that wild card aspect to him. And that's John the Baptist, who also the kids are going to call Jay the Bee. So he's got a nickname. He's got a nickname. So Jay the Bee is my counselor. And he's like that counselor who you're not sure if like he's dressed up. Like you were saying, Peter's got like the full face paint. Like Jay the Bee shows up and you're like, oh, like we must be playing some sort of game, but like that's just what he's wearing for the day. It's just some robe with camel hair that he made for himself. And you're like, oh, that has nothing to do with what we're doing.
And he's the staff member that you think probably lives at camp all year round. And he's just excited when people come and join him for those couple weeks.
Yeah. But he's kind of got that buck against the authority in him as well, but also a deep spiritual side to him. But he's also resourceful, right? So when you're playing the night games and you're in the woods, he knows camp like the back of his hand. And if something were to go wrong and you lose power or something, like he's going to be able to tell you which bugs you're allowed to eat and which bugs you shouldn't eat, which berries are good and which are poisonous. Right. So he'll be able to help navigate you that way as well.
Yeah, very resourceful member of your staff. Next, I'm going to go kind of on the other side of it, that every staff needs to have that kind of wild card, crazy person to bring the energy, but you don't want a whole staff of Peters.
Right.
That would be too much. If everybody is going 120% all the time, it would be hard to kind of wrangle in. So I want Barnabas as a camp counselor, especially as if I'm leading the camp. The encourager doesn't need the limelight like a Peter might need, but is going to come alongside the campers, is going to come alongside the kids, is going to encourage them, is going to help lead them, is fine being the behind the scenes kind of working things out, but is caring for you, is coming with you along the way. So give me Barnabas.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm going to go with Mary Magdalene. We all have those camp counselors who clearly have a past, and but they've been changed by Jesus. And I think as a camper, sometimes you can just think, oh, well, like these counselors, like they're just like the perfect Christians and they have these perfect stories. And I'll never be that. At 13, I've already like sinned more on my way here than my counselors ever have in their lives. But Mary is someone who can, appropriately share some of her story to let you know how God has redeemed her and changed her. So she's going to be able to connect with the kids that way. And, because she does have such a drastic story of redemption, she's sold out for Jesus and she's committed to him. And so that's going to be infectious for the rest of the kids as well. So I'm going with Mary Magdalene as my second counselor.
And it's good to have some of those on your staff too, because they know what the campers are going to try to pull.
Right.
Because they did that when they were younger. They're like, this isn't my first time here. If you get, the homeschoolers never experienced anything. They're like, what do you mean sneak out after the lights out? We can't. The lights are out. They closed the door. How could we ever get out?
Yes.
So if you have some of those that have been around the block before, maybe were campers that broke some of the rules, or some of the rules were maybe created
because of them.
Yes. No cutting hair, no piercing, no hair dye,
no vaping on the fire escape.
Right. Oh, that was one of the stories I didn't share. Is one of the things was a kid had asthma, and they put Dr. Pepper in his inhaler, and so they think they invented vaping through
Yep, that's when it started.
putting Dr. Pepper in somebody's inhaler.
Yes. Tell me you've never vaped without telling me you've never vaped.
Right. All right, my last one. Pretty exciting that he fell all the way to fifth pick here. Mark 15:43. I'm going to drop some scripture.
It is the Bible breakdown.
Yeah.
So this is
Joseph of Arimathea, comma, an honorable counselor,
perfect. Okay. All right.
comma, who also himself was waiting for the reign of God, came boldly, entered into Pilate, and asked the body of Jesus. So give me Joseph of Arimathea. We know that he donated tomb for Jesus. Anointed him with spices. We know he was.
So he knows like the best nap spots around camp.
Yes. Yeah. So he knows the spot.
Yes.
He's got a spot, a cave in the side of camp that you can go get a nap. But also, we know he was wealthy. He could afford these embalming spices and stuff for Jesus. And so it's always good to have a counselor that has a little bit of money, right?
Hit him up for the chip witch.
Yeah, you're short going to the snack shop. He'll be the guy. You know what? I got you. He already brought some snacks for team time or games. He's bought, bandanas and shirts and things for your whole group because money's not really an option. So he's prepared to be able to clothe your body in, the neon orange shirt for the orange team for team time.
Yeah, I like it. For my last one, I'm going with Moses. A lot of experience in the wilderness, as we know, and also resourceful. Can make water come from a rock. Thirsty during team time. Don't want to walk all the way to the nearest water fountain or cooler or whatever. That's fine. There's a rock. Boom, boom. There's some water. And certainly, I would imagine at this point in Moses' life, he can probably might have a shorter fuse than he had early on, but you need someone who's going to be the disciplinarian.
A shorter fuse than killing a guy because he was picking on
someone. That's true. All right. So he's never had a long fuse, but you need someone who's a little bit over it, and who's gonna be like, guys, it's time for bed. I told you it's time for bed. Lay down. And so you need someone who's going to lay down the law a little bit. And so I think between we have a bunch of male counselors here. So between J the B, Peter, Barnabas, and Joseph, I think they'll help balance out the gruffness of Moses. But you need Moses's gruffness to make sure everybody's in line.
And he's experienced dealing with a bunch of people complaining.
Yes.
Which can definitely happen while you're at camp.
Yes.
Whether it be, we don't want to eat this, we don't want to play this, it's too hot, it's too cold, this or that.
Yep.
And that snake that was in the swimming area, he could have just
his walking stick.
He could have just grabbed, and now it's a staff.
Yep. Did you have anybody on your do not draft list?
The Grizzly Bear.
Yeah.
Who's that? Samson? I don't know. Who's a Grizzly Bear? Solomon.
Yeah. Samson. Yeah. Can't have that.
How about you?
Elijah. Can't have Elijah. You got to have a thick skin as a counselor. Can't have kids or Elisha.
Yeah, with the bear.
Yes. Can't have kids making fun of you, and then you're just calling bears out of the woods to maul the kids.
That's part of it, one kid says that your butt's the size of Canada. And
next thing you know,
it's calling bears out of the woods.
Next thing you know, the grizzly bear is ripping their face off.
Thank you for listening to the Gospel According to podcast, for joining us, for following us accordingly. Like Dave said, if you have your phones at summer camp, or ask your counselor to use their phone to call your parents, say you're homesick, but then really go and subscribe to the Gospel According to podcast. Make sure you're following us on all social media platforms that exist or have ever existed: Facebook, Twitter, Threads, Bandcamp, SoundCloud, YouTube. If they still give out they used to give out phone numbers at the end of camp, like a list of phone numbers so you could keep in touch, or addresses you can keep in touch. Yep. We're on that list.
We're in the T's alphabetically, just one name, TGATPOD.
So thank you for sharing that with your family, with your friends, with your counselor. with your roommate who, you get a little agitated at.
Mhm.
But
You can also send us mailbag question on social media or by sending it to Delanco Camp,
Yeah, mail
191 Powell Place Road, Tabernacle, New Jersey.
08088.
There it is.
Care of
Dave Hallahan. You just put care of the Gospel According to podcast.
They'll know.
They'll know.
They'll get to us.
You can also, if you forget that address, you can email us at tgatpod@gmail.com and we'll send you the address. And then you can submit your question.
And we'll get it next year.
We'll get it next year, and we will read it on the summer camp part 3, I promise. Make sure that you do your part in obeying the Great Commission by helping us spread the gospel according to podcast. One great, easy, free way. I mean, if it takes you 5 minutes, you spent too much time doing it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't even take a lot of time. Leave us a 5-star rating and review wherever it is that you listen to podcasts. The hitting the stars, we love that. But if you could write a review, that would be wonderful as well. And
just put greatest podcast ever.
yeah, your rewards will be great in heaven. So thank you for doing that. This has been the Gospel According to Summer Camp
Again.
Part 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
Woo-woo.
Not outside the dojo. Fun challenge was that I had to lick 20 other campers' elbows.
The mythical
Right.
double crown of biggest splash, smallest splash. I hope there's a plaque.
The Gospel According to podcast is not responsible for anyone breaking camp rules.
Tell me you've never vaped without telling me you've never vaped.